So hi guys, this is Pallavi. I'm from India and it was my long-term dream to meet Sofia Sundari, whose work I have been following since a year and a half. I was introduced to Sofia by one of her course participants who attended her workshop in Spain, and he said that you must follow her work. And I'm so glad that I didn't deviate anywhere, because again you get a lot of people who just sell information but who are not genuine to their soul, and I found Sophia as a very genuine soul, and her work is very relatable and easy to understand. The best thing I liked about her work is it is very lucid. So I finally got a chance to meet her here in India. She has come here to take a workshop, and I attended some workshops. And I guess for those of you who have not attended it but should be, get that magical charm of hers, I have got here to for a small chit chat with us on certain topics that you are not comfortable talking about, but these are very important to talk about. So, hi Sophia.
Oh, darling, thank you so much for this beautiful intro.
Yes, so Sophia, I was like, you are a Tantra teacher, okay? And Tantra, a lot of people don't know about it, or if they know, they think, it is something about sex, it is something where you can get free sex. I mean, there have been a lot of misconception and lack of clarity about this discipline. So for the uninitiated who don't know about Tantra, what is Tantra and how Tantra will help us? Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much misconception around Tantra, so I even decided not to use this word so much anymore. Although I know Tantra in my bones, I know Tantra in my soul, and in the essence what I teach is Tantra. But there's so many misconceptions around Tantra, so the word became very polluted these days. But since we're here in the Tantra festival, and I feel like if you're watching this means that you're ready to hear this information, and I'm happy to share a little bit about what actually Tantra is. And Tantra is a spiritual path. It's an ancient spiritual path which is available to us these days, and I find that this path is so incredibly suitable for modern day person, because we recognize that just being stuck in the material world, where we're always fed with those advertisements, get more, buy more, do this, yeah, then you will be better. And then we keep buying and buying, this consumerism society, yeah, we're buying things, and then we see what happens. You buy as much as you can, you get as much money as you can, and you're still not happy. You're still not fully content inside. So how come? So then many people start what is called awakening. So awakening to the reality that there is something else besides the manifest world, besides the material possessions, material consumeristic society. So then we start to awaken. Wow, I feel there is something more. There must be more to life. And this more means the spirit. Yeah? And then we see that we can live in total communion with the spirit, and even though we don't have to disconnect from the society and be somewhere in the cave, what is done in traditional spiritual path. We actually can be in that communion and yet fully engaged in our life and make an impact just through our presence alone, by embodying those two polarities, that cosmic and the love for Shakti, love for life. Then we are becoming this whole human being, and then just through embodying that, we are transmitting something magnificent to the world. So how comes sex? Where sex comes in? Yeah. Well, sex comes in because it's one of the things that is included into Tantra, because Tantra includes everything, because it includes all our life. So how can we avoid sex? Excuse me, that's why we're here, that's why we're talking here, because at some point two people made love. Two people for her side who is filming us. So we cannot ignore sexual energy. When we ignore it, then we put it into shadow. Yeah, and it comes out in perverse ways. That's why there's so much rape, so much unconscious sexuality, so much abuse of sexuality. But when we bring it into light, we say, wow, this is energy created us. It must be sacred. If it created something as beautiful as a human life. So that's why sexuality is part of Tantra, but it's not the only thing. It's just a little part of Tantra. Sometimes we say it's just 10% of Tantra. Imagine for the rest, there is yoga, there's different arts, there's expression through music, through voice, through creativity. There's also like we can find a conscious way to deal with the energy of money, for example, of your career, of your relationships with your beloveds, with your children, with your parents. So all of that Tantra includes.
Right. Okay, so that was a beautiful description of Tantra, and yes, I would encourage you to read more. So there is a blog link also, Sophia's blog link in the video. You can just go and check that out. And Sophia, the second question I had is like a lot of people even fear talking about the word sex. You know, even taking the word sex in a public space like this, or maybe in a cafe or in a restaurant. It is something thought of as being talked inside the four walls with the lights shut off and the bedroom door closed. This is where the word has started to be residing from a long time. How it comes easy to you for telling this word, and for the other people who are repressing it, what it does to them, what it does to their mental well-being, physical well-being, overall outlook towards life, what sexual shame does to us.
Yes. It's very strong, especially here in the festival, and I was so excited to come here, especially because I knew I will touch Indian people.
Yeah.
Because this is where Tantra begins. Yeah, this form, as we know, Tantra, it began in India, and I also feel like India is my spiritual home in many ways, because that's where my first awakening took place, and I feel I owe this country so much because I received so much. So that's why I actually said yes to come to the festival. And now here, seeing Indian people especially, I see how much they need this work, how deeply they are touched, how slow they need to go, and how even those small little steps, they are so life-changing. So yeah, it's incredible to see how much sexual repression there is in the world and how much shame that creates. And why this happens is because it's very strong energy. And very often we are very intimidated by very strong energy. So let's say when you are a little child, at the age of 3 or 4, it's very natural to start exploring the genitals. But normally the first imprint that we get is that we get shamed. Yeah? We are told that this is wrong, that something is not right about touching your genitals, and then immediately, like, okay, maybe you don't want your child to touch his or her genitals in a public place, but still there is a compassionate way to explain it. But normally it's just like a cut, yeah, stop doing this is wrong. And then we get that, and the child is like a sponge, they just understand, okay, this is wrong. So that's the first imprint. And then throughout life, we see so much abuse, misuse of sexuality. We don't have models. Our parents normally are much more ashamed than us. So we have all those imprints, all those cultural imprints, and also then we see that sex is used to sell. Yeah, when they want to sell juice to car or whatever, bra, they have put this woman who is very much in her sex appeal, and then we start to think that sexuality is something to attract someone. Yeah, our sexuality is for someone else. And this is a huge misconception, and it's a huge disconnect from our power. Because in fact, sexuality is just our primordial energy, our raw, pure energy of our being, that then gets transformed into all the other energies. But this is the energy of creation. So that's why the shame is there. And I haven't been always like this, easily speaking about sexuality and vaginas. At some point I found myself traveling around the world and just speaking about the vagina all the time, giving talks and workshops, just explaining the power of the vagina. And even just sometimes saying this word, I know people are, whew, yeah, because so much shame also around this beautiful holy place in the consciousness.
You talked about sex consumerism, and porn is one of the biggest, outcomes of sex consumerism. And even I get a lot of queries from men who are addicted to porn, and for women they say that men don't know. Like you talked about sexual anatomy, sexual arousal anatomy for men and women, and definitely porn is a masculine sexuality, and it is just overridden. So for someone who is battling this addiction to porn, if you can give one tip for them, how they can come out of it.
Yeah. It's a very strong thing, and only people will understand it if they experience the actual addiction, because it's not just like watching here and there, but for some people it really becomes, as soon as something is shaking them, they go and watch porn. Some people watch porn 7-8 times a day, and then they feel depleted after that, and it always depletes and depletes and depletes you, because it shows you completely unrealistic representation of sexuality. And then many men also suffer from low self-esteem because of this performance anxiety, inability to get an erection, all really side effects of watching porn. It has a really intense damaging effect on the brain. But what is really important to say right now is that it's nothing to be ashamed of. That in fact, I believe that the original impulse to watch porn is because we want to release that shame from sexuality. Because we want to see genitals, big plan, closely, yeah? Also in porn there's a whole thing about the worship of Shakti. If you think about it, porn is always, unless it's gay porn, but mostly porn is oriented around woman's body, yeah? And like really zooming onto woman's body and her vagina. So there is this element of like, and that's what we really want. We want to release the shame from sexuality. We want to find love and adoration for the feminine. So yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed of really, because the original impulse is really that. That's what I really, really believe in. But then, if you see that, this has a devastating effect on your life, which probably it may have. So what I would suggest is to really feel, yeah, because you are your own expert, yeah, and no one knows better than you, yeah, better than me, better than you for ourselves. And our experience is the thing to trust. So what I would suggest is that every time you watch porn, tune into how you feel before watching porn, yeah, notice this, how you feel while you're watching porn, and how you feel after. And notice, yeah, if you feel happy and uplifted afterwards, or you feel depleted. And if you feel depleted, and you feel worse about yourself, then perhaps there's a calling to change something.
Lovely. Thank you. I hope this helped you, and on our quest to invoke the sexual energy and to revel the sexual energy, keep watching this space more. You did it well. Thank you, Sofia. So on airdrop, it is